Hello, my name is Chris Marr and I am the instructional chairman here in the Long Beach unit. I would like to welcome you to the first of our training tapes for the 2019 season. This first series deals with obstruction and the various types of ways it can happen on the field. You will see some examples of good umpiring as well as examples of where we can improve. The whole idea behind this is to get everyone exposed to these types of plays and visualize their position on the field from a mechanics and rules standpoint. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Here is an excerpt from the definition of obstruction in the Federation Rulebook. These actions may qualify as obstruction but are not limited to such. It is important to note that these actions deal with playing and non-playing members of the defensive team. An obstructed runner is awarded at least one base from the last legally touched base. An umpire may award additional bases as well as award other runners bases that would nullify the obstruction. This would be a delayed dead ball enforcement, and bases would be awarded when all playing action ceases. Here we have a fielder who goes to his knee before receiving this pickoff throw. His right foot is also blocking the back side of the bag, and his left foot is in front of second base. He has denied the runner access to the bag without possession of the ball. This is obstruction, and I would like for us to note the mechanics of how this umpire enforces the play. One of the hardest plays for an umpire to judge in baseball is a play at the plate. On this play, we will see a catcher who has provided a pathway to home for the runner and is subsequently taken on the foul side of the third base line to take this throw. This is a very tight play, but the runner had access to home plate before the catcher had possession of the ball, and this action did not hinder the runner or cause him to deviate. This is a great use of timing by using his eyes to process all information before making a decision as well as diffusing a tense situation. No obstruction, legal play. This play here is much different than the previous play because we can see the catcher has his left foot on the foul side of the third baseline and never makes any adjustment. You can tell that this is a clear effort to block home plate well before any kind of play is made. More importantly, let's examine the positioning we need to have on this play. We seldomly take plays first base extended because we cannot see the perspective of a tag versus where the runner is sliding. We really need to work hard at staying on the catcher's inside hip so that it will help us find the status of the fielder and where the tag is occurring. Oftentimes in sports, we have heard the term broken play, and this next instance is a classic example of such. This is a good job by this plate umpire staying alert and umpiring the defense as this secondary play develops. There are two fielders in front of home plate, and it's pretty clear well before there is any possibility of a play at the plate that the base runner has been denied access to home plate, and neither fielder is in possession of the baseball. We must continue to keep umpiring as the play progresses. Obstruction was correctly ruled. I put this play on here to illustrate a fielder's entitlement to the baseball as noted in Rule 842G1. Only one fielder is entitled to fielding a batted ball, and that fielder also receives protection in regards to interference. The first baseman will receive entitlement to the baseball, leaving the pitcher unprotected by a rule and could be called for obstruction as it was here. These next two plays are going to deal with a guideline to use in judging obstruction, and that is tangle, untangle. There has to be some understanding that on a wild throw, there's going to be some incidental contact initially as the first baseman attempts to retrieve the ball and the runner attempts to advance. On this first play, there is some contact that occurs up the first base line, but we must consider that something like this will be inevitable when there is a wild throw. This second play illustrates what I like to refer to as a second act by this fielder. There is contact as the throw gets away from the third baseman, but you will see a second action as the third baseman leg whips the base runner. That action would not qualify as the initial tangle, untangle that we were talking about before, and it is grounds for obstruction because it has now hindered the runner as he has advanced to home plate. I would like to thank you for tuning in to our first preseason training tape. I hope that you have gained some insight in regards to rules knowledge, philosophy, and mechanics as we progress towards the start of our season. The goal of this training is that it can help officials from all levels of play and can be accessible from any location. It is your hard work and diligence that helps stay the course of improved umpiring.